Hello everyone, welcome to another video of mine. It's Kemal AA, and this is another episode of my tactical analysis series that I do with managers. This is, I believe, episode 7, but it will be on Erik Ten Hag, the current Ajax manager. I know, again, another heavily requested video for you guys. A manager that a lot of you would want at Chelsea, who's done incredible things with Ajax youth set up with the Ajax first team, the Champions League run. They had that magical run, likes of Hakim Ziyech, Neres, De Ligt, De Jong as well. We'll be delving into all the tactical analysis videos, how he builds on the back, the transition, how he utilises his wide players, his past achievements. Every single bit of detail regarding Erik Ten Hag will be in this video. But before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button to hit the bell notification to be notified that every time I do upload, and comment down below your thoughts opinions in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's tactical analysis video on Erik Ten Hag. Now, starting off with when he arrived at Ajax and what he's achieved at Ajax so far regarding the trophy cabinet. Now, following the sacking of Kaiser in December of 2017, the Ajax manager, Erik Ten Hag took over as the Ajax manager. Since his appointment, he has won the Eredivisie title in the 2018-19 season, as well as the KNVB Cup, on top of a well-documented run to the Champions League semi-final, where they were seconds away from reaching the Champions League final. Unfortunately, they got knocked out from a Lucas Moura hat-trick. Since then, Erik Ten Hag's side have continued to dominate domestically and are 3 points clear at the top of the league, with AZ Alkmaar sat just behind. They will not be a repeat of last season's Champions League heroics. However, Ajax fans will no doubt believe they'll have a strong chance of regaining the Europa League title, having been knocked out of the Champions League group stages just last season. The most obvious task Ten Hag faced for last season was obviously replacing Frenkie de Jong and Matthijs de Ligt, with the two youngsters leaving the summer for Barcelona and Juventus, respectively. Lisandro Martinez was signed in the summer and was expected to fill in at centre-back, but has found plenty of minutes in central midfield as well as at the back, with Joel Veltman and Per Schuurs seeing far more game time at the centre-back in the post-De Ligt era. Now, let's look at his tactical. Now, knowing that he's already won a few titles in Holland with Ajax, and obviously that famous domestic that documented run in the Champions League. Unfortunate not to win the tournament that year, actually. I think that Ajax definitely deserved to win. Now, building from the back, Ten Hag predominantly uses a 4-2-3-1 formation. Again, he's quite flexible, so he can also use a 4-3-3. So very similar to Lampard in that regard, and pretty much most forward-thinking attacking managers. Having used 84% of the games of the last two seasons, he's been using a 4-2-3-1, but on the odd occasion he has used a 4-3-3, as I've stated. Now, with an overall percentage of 73.27% and an overall goal difference of a plus 192 from 101 games as Ajax manager, it's quite fair to say that Ten Hag's philosophy is successful and that he has created a fantastic attacking outfit. Now, Ajax build up patiently from the back, with both centre-backs in a pivot creating a triangle. Again, similar to what Pep Guardiola, Klopp and Arteta does. They produce triangles. Sarri did this at Chelsea when you have that Regista, that deep line playmaker in the pivot, and you have the two centre-backs. That's why in a Ten Hag system, your two centre-backs have to be good on the ball. A lot, especially in this forward era of football. Your centre-backs have to be good with the ball, creating the triangles, so essentially they have to be press resistant and they can essentially beat the press of the opponent and they can transition into the attack. Now, again, as I said, they engage in a variety of interchanges between them as well as rotating positionally to build up and help break the initial press. The back three, essentially the back three or the back two, encourage your opposition to push forward and engage, opening up the spaces and more attacking areas for them to play into. It is often the case in the Eredivisie where Ajax face sides operating defensively in a low block, so Ten Hag looks to bring this forward. They are used to having large periods of possession in the Eredivisie and have averaged 64.3% of possession in domestic games so far this season, a league high, as well as making 582 passes per game. Again, as I stress, building up from the back is one of the key elements of a Ten Hag system, because of course they have to be able to beat the press and transition into the attack. So they have to have centre backs that are good on the ball, and they have to have a pivot that's essentially able to break up the play, but at the same time is able to move the ball quickly and play triangles with the full-backs, the centre backs, etc. Now let's delve into the importance of wingers and the wide players in the Erik Ten Hag system. Now, if you analyse Ajax's positional play, they essentially provide you with a lot of attacking tendencies. They have had the majority of positional attacks from the left-hand side with the 4-4-4 compared to 3-7-8 from the centre of the pitch, and at least from the right-hand side of just the XG per attack from the left has been 0.03 XG per attack. Now, if you guys don't know what XG is your expected goals. So within the game of football, in a game of 90 minutes, the XG calculates the expected goals, with the chances you created, with the opportunities you had, how many goals you should have scored. So, for example, you might have an XG of 2.37, so approximately you should have scored around 2 goals that game. It's not always the case, of course, but again, it's just an approximate, it's just an estimate of the chances you created, essentially. So, essentially, it uses a lot of metrics, and XG is very common, a lot of people use it. Now, essentially, what they're saying is with the left-hand side having an XG of 0.03, essentially states that they don't really attack down left-hand side. They rarely use down the left-hand side, whereas on the right, whereas in the middle, is 0.05. So when it comes to the left-hand side of the flank and the centre of the attacking areas, they don't really utilise those areas to attack, whereas on the Sari, we utilise left-hand side predominantly. Now, this does not seem like a huge difference per attack. However, from the left in all competitions, they have an XG of 12.81, whereas in the middle, they have a total of 17.17 XG. This compared to a mere 5.36 XG from the right-hand side. Highlights here where they are most dangerous. So again, it's really a mixed bag. They utilise the left flank, the right flank, the centre, but when you calculate all the games in the competitions, they predominantly utilise the centre. They attack through the middle. Again, this can cause problems because a lot of teams will use low block and the mid block. So, you're kind of forced to use flanks at times. But if you've got a creative number 8, if you've got a creative number 10 who's able to unlock defences, break down low blocks with good link-up play, it is of course doable. Nevertheless, Ten Hag uses wide players on either side that can hurt the opposition. David Neres, Quincy Boris and Hakim Ziyech last season are 3 individuals used in such positions, and Promise and Ziyech in particular are 2 of the most potent attacking talents playing outside of the top 5 leagues. Unsurprisingly, with this talent on their flanks, plenty of their goals coming from crosses. They make 18.85 crosses per game, over 3 more than the second most in the league. On top of this, they recorded a 34.1% completion, the second highest amount in the league. Again, extremely impressive. Ziyech makes more crosses than anyone and averages almost 1 assist per game, which is outstanding, which is again the highest in the Eredivisie last season. Despite the differences in XG between both flanks, it is interesting to note that the majority of their crosses come from the right flank, which again, it's understandable considering who they have there. They have Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech, we've seen what he does at Chelsea. He's a fantastic crosser of the ball because Hakim Ziyech, even though he operates in the right flank, he cuts into the half space because he's predominantly left-footed, so he's going to be on his stronger side, and he operates the half space. So when you have a player like Hakim Ziyech, you need to be having an overlapping right back because you need to create the width and stretch that back foot, allowing Hakim Ziyech the space and ability to essentially cut on the inside on a stronger left foot and ping those crosses in or shots or whatever. And naturally, because you have a player like Hakim Ziyech, you're going to pass to him more regularly, and so again, you're going to cross more from the right hand side. Again, that's not really a system of Ten Hag, that's just because of the personnel he has, but again, that is something to note in that regard, in that space. Now let's look at the attacking shape of an Erik Ten Hag system. Now their approach to get the ball into dangerous areas is incredibly successful. The majority of their goals come from inside the box, where they average 39.88 touches in the box. To put this into context, this is 13 more than the second highest in the league. AZ Alkmaar once more. 4 of the top 5 in the league for touches in the box come from Ajax. Again, this just proves the point that in a Ten Hag system, he likes to have his players in the box. He likes to have his players, the attacking players, in the opposition's 18-yard box to have as many touches as possible, because of course that increases your chance of scoring. Again, you are more susceptible to transitions, but again, it means that because you got such a good cross of the ball, likes of a Quincy Promise or Hakim Ziyech, the more players you have in the box, of course, the more chance you have to score. So that's, again, because mainly of personnel, but again, it's something to note down. It's quite effective from Ten Hag. Now, if you look at last season, Donny van de Beek's positioning is interesting, and his movement facilitates Ajax excellent passing in the final third. He plays in front of Ajax's double pivot. However, when they attack, he pushes forward, vacating the central space in midfield, and plays alongside Tadic, effectively as another centre forward. In the image below, he occupies centre back. Again, as you see on your screen right now, with Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek, he vacates that central space in midfield by attacking those spaces, meaning there's extra space for the pivot and the wide players essentially cut inside and move in essentially in the half spaces. I'm going to speak about Ajax's press. An Erik Ten Hag system when it comes to pressing. Pressing for me is essential and pivotal in this type of football, especially in this era and age. Ajax are not just leaders in the league for their attacking prowess. Under Ten Hag, they have an aggressive pressing style that look to win the ball back as quickly as possible with efficiency and ease. So far in the league this season, they've had 7.82 passes per defensive action, once again the highest in the league for this metric, and their press is orthodox, as a front man usually engages either of the opposition fullback, whilst either 3 or 4 players will close passing lanes and delay the press until the ball is moved laterally by the opposition. Now again, this is my biggest critique with Frank Lampard. We do press. there's no denying that we do press, but it's not essentially organised. It's, you know, one or two players pressing. You've got Mason Mount, Kante pressing, but you haven't got as a collective. In Erik Ten Hag's system, it's organised and it's an aggressive press where they press high in numbers and they force opposition mistakes to win the ball back efficiently, just like how a Jurgen Klopp system will do, just like how a Pep Guardiola. If you perfect the system, it is extremely effective. However, again, with every single system you have, there are pros and cons. The cons of it, you are more susceptible to transitions, and of course, when you turn the ball over, when you have that many people pressing and you lose the ball and they beat your press, unfortunately, you are susceptible to a lot of counter-attacking goals. But again, there's a lot of benefits with this, you know, aggressive pressing style. You force your opposition to make a mistake. So again, it's very, very effective. And again, I think Erik Ten Hag, with his attacking style of play, his pressing, his movement of the ball, the way he attacks attacks oppositions with attacking players that he has and attacks space, the way that he attacks from, you know, various left flank, right flank, various type of areas. Again, the fact that he uses a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 accommodates a lot of the players we have in the squad at Chelsea. I think that, yeah, I've always been a massive fan of him. And even before we got Lampard, I wanted Ten Hag to come. Definitely, he would be, you know, up there in my top 5 that I'd want. He wouldn't be my first choice, but he'd definitely be up there as someone that I would want Chelsea to sign. And again, I think that he would be a good fit for Chelsea. But what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, forget to smash like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.